Hey there, my name is Rohit Kumar, and today we are going to discuss another important journal of Elsevier, that is signal processing. So, what is so special about this journal and why we should discuss about it? Let's explore. So, signal processing, as you can see here, it's the home page. So here, before discussing the usual key matrices of this particular journal, we would like to see that what are the different things that we should explore first, means in terms of the different domains as well as the different key terms. So because whenever we are going for a particular journal, the usual approach is that does our article, does our abstract or our research paper suit the journals needs. So in this way, we need to focus specifically on some keywords or the domains. If your work lies in that particular category, obviously the journal is a good suit for your work. So starting with the keywords, I'm going to say that if you are focusing on specifically signal processing or the kind of MIMO radar, the beam forming, or the finite impulse response. So in this way means these sort of issues can be considered as a kind of focus of this particular journal. Additionally, the adaptive filter-based processing, the compressed sensing, subspaces, the Kalman filters-based results, noise reductions, estimation theories, wavelet transformations, discrete time and continuous time-based evaluations. Additionally, the signal separation, their generalization, the different sorts of span matrices, focusing on the different categorization and the generalization of signals. Additionally, the information hiding, direction of arrival, etc. So many different points are under focus of this particular journal. So why specifically we are talking about this particular journal? Because this journal is a very good suit and it offers some of the key benefits that you will discuss right now. So first point, that it stands as 44th out of 273. So out of a big mass, it is at a quite substantial place. So you can see that it is coming from the engineering category, specifically the electrical and electronics, and there are so many journals which are competing to be at top, and still maintaining under 50 is obviously a good rank. So signal processing is an international journal and a publication of the European Association for Signal Processing, EUROSIP. It offers two kind of publishing options, open access and subscription based, like the usual journals. Then there is a guide for authors and tracking your paper and ordering journals. Coming to the editorial board, you can see that most of the editorial board members come from China as of today. Then the United States of America 9, France 8, Spain 4, Italy 3. And if we look for India here, so here it is, I think, single one. Okay, so in this way you can see that what is the general representation of different means. We should not say representation, we should say the kind of contribution, because it's not the duty of a particular board or the journal to include all variety of people from different domains or the continents. But yes, obviously if you see the participation, then it gives you a kind of idea that the journal is accepting the works from all over the world. And obviously, if your work is having some sort of quality, definitely any journal would love to accept your work. Coming down, you will see that the Gate Leos is the editor-in-chief. Then the subject editors, there are so many three subject editors, one special issue editor, then the editorial board members. So here, so many board members. So again, 30 to 40 board members are there, or more than 40, I think. And it's a good size of a panel member. Good size of a editorial board, because obviously if you are having more people, it shows clearly that there is a substantial activity going on, and there are enough number of quartiles or the different tracks, and as well as the different domains in which the journal is focusing on, and different varieties of papers are coming to the board. So in this way, you can have a basic idea about the editorial board and the journal. Coming on to the matrices, so here you can see that the Cited score, which measures the average citations received per peer-reviewed document received in this article. So it is 9.1. Then the impact factor, which measures the average number of citations received in a particular year by papers published in the journal during the last 2 preceding years. Then it's a 4.662. The acceptance rate is 15%, which is tougher in comparison to most of the journals. So you can easily get accepted into this particular journal. Okay, then the top readership comes from China, US, and India. That is pretty obvious. But here you can see the review time is 6.6 weeks and the publication time is 0.8 weeks in average, which is way better in comparison to the FGCS, JNC, ad hoc, etc. Because I think that is more than one. Okay, then coming down here, you see that which are the recent articles. Means if you want to see that what are the recent focuses, so we can see the all recent published articles. So here you can see that recently they are focusing on the direct IC on data tensor via random matrix modeling. It was one of the recently published article. Then soft amyloid based detection, then spatial modulation, then steganography, low light image enhancement, image enhancement. Then if you move on, then video signal processing, then anti-jamming pulse diversity rate, waveform based design, and the periodic ambiguity function shaping. And additionally, if we go down, then you can see here it is the non-stationary environment based focus of different sorts of research, including the combination of adaptive filters. And moving down, there are some systematic reviews also. So the journal accepts the review works also. So in this way, you can go to the recent articles and have a look and have a kind of idea, means which are the kind of articles that the journal is recently focusing on, and which are the different topics that you can write into to get accepted into this particular journal. Okay, because the journal's current focus is very much important. Time to time, the editorial board members get changed, the editor-in-chiefs get changed, and that's why the focus of the journal, the main working body, decides that in which particular direction we need to move this particular journal. Okay, moving on to the most downloaded, here you can see that the wildfire detection from UAV using deep learning based computer vision algorithm. So vision based works are kind of most downloaded in this journal, and then the decision making algorithm for learning and adaptation. So in short, means again the DLML, these sort of things are very much under focus in signal processing domain also. Okay, then going to the most cited ones, so here you have the color image cryptographic system based dynamic DNA encryption, then the hybrid digital chaotic system with applications in image encryption, so security, and then the selective review of offline change point detection methods. So detection, mitigation, and the kind of encryption, security, etc. These are all the kind of focus of the writers, because they are ultimately citing the bugs in their works. So you can see in this way that which are the key things that writers are focusing on to. Okay, then spatial issues, Plumex matrices, and the open access articles are provided here. If you want to see that what are the different indexings, so click here and you can see that there are in a fair number of indices here, and obviously we are interested in SCI listing only, so obviously it is here. So the journal is SCI indexed, and the impact factor is close to 4.4, which is good one, and the acceptance rate is 15%. So in this way, you need to give a tough fight to the other fellow authors in order to get accepted. Okay. Moving down, you can see that the open access and subscription based comparison is shown here. So in 2017-18, it was almost nil in category of open access, but in 16, there was bit, then 19, and in 20, there were some articles. So in 20, 387 articles were published, out of which 8 were open access. Okay, so in this way, you can see that what is the usual focus of the journal. Then the policy and guidelines are provided, some news and announcements. Coming to the important point, that is authorship. Means most of the authors belong where? Means they belong to China. So here you can see that it's a kind of absolute domination of Chinese authors in this particular journal. And as I usually tell in my video, that top viewership means is a different, top readership is a different concept. Means from which particular part of the world the most of the readers are having an interest in a particular journal. And obviously, if some country is more populous than others, then top viewership or the readership will come from there. It's a general probability, okay, because of large masses. That's why China, India, these are kind of usual top readership come from there. But in addition, if some country is very good in technology, like US, obviously, and some European countries, then obviously the viewership, the readership also comes from there because most of the people are tech oriented. So in this way, so US has good mass and as well as technologically way ahead than the other world countries. So in this way, US is the usual part of top readership in this. Okay, so here you can see that US is here. And here you can see, as means in none of my previous videos, I have not discussed about this, that but I always give a hint that if some country having a good majority in terms of top readership, then there is a probability that the top authorship will also be from there. Okay, and additionally, this top authorship also get influenced by the editorial board member strength. So as you can clearly see, and we have shown you also that 24 out of 74 editorial board members, here you can see that 24 come from China. Okay, so clearly almost 1/3. Okay, so in this way, you can see that the work might be influenced. I'm not saying that definitely they'll get influenced, but there might be a probability that most of the accepted works will be from China. And it's a clear indication here that China is having more than 1,000, 1,100, approximately 1,200 authors from, means China is having approximately 1,200 authors. And in this way, it's a kind of clear domination in this journal. Okay, so usually, and the authors means just being curious, I usually go with the statistics and explore these kind of things, but it's not always true. If your work is having quality and if you are good with your work, then definitely your work may get accepted anywhere. And definitely people have to accept it, and they should accept it, because if they don't accept it, then definitely the other journals are there. And over the period of time, so your acceptance issues, your statistics, clear everything to the journal author. And that's way a journal's reputation as well as the other things always remain at stake. Okay, so editorial board members are always concerned about these things. So don't worry, authors. If you are interested in signal processing, your work and aim and scope lie very much in focus with a particular journal. Go for it. Okay, these are my just general analysis. Then moving down, like here you can see that France is at the second location. 121 authors are from France. Okay, but in comparison to the top authorship, France is nowhere in top 3. Okay, so in this way, means as India, means I usually believe that in recent years only we have specifically focused towards the technological issues, or we are more interested in recent years. So that's why in top authorships we usually don't come down here, but soon Indians will catch up, and hopefully will cover it. That more tech oriented, more research oriented we need to be. Then coming to the authors resources. Here you have the lots of different tools and the kind of other facilities, the links which you can use to have better research preparation, your submissions, article publications, and the writings. Okay, so different sorts of editing, the translation, and other bibliography related tools are available. So you can take help if you are interested in. Okay, and there are other some research data related links, some readers, authors, librarians, and the editors related links are also presented. If you want to be a reviewer, then again, I think you can request for being a reviewer, etc. So in this way, you can discuss the different sort of things with your friends, as well as you can decide whether you want to go for a particular book or not. Lastly, as I always say, that we should focus on 3 things. First is the whether the journal is SCI or not. Second is its a Q factor, means it's a quartile index, so that is Q1, Q2, Q3, etc. Then the third is impact factor. Impact factor you should always keep at last, because it is always get influenced by so many things. Means how many survey papers a particular journal is accepting or not, how many self citations are there, etc. Okay, so don't go into the game of impact factor, which most of the people focus, especially even researchers get into this trap of impact factor game. Okay, so don't look into that much. Firstly, go for SCI, then for Q ranking, and then for your impact factor. Okay, so let's see that what is the role of signal processing here. So at SCI Mago, we are going to see the Q ranking. So let's explore. So here you can see that it's the signal processing page. The H index is wonderful. You can see 136, which is quite powerful H index. Then here you can see that there are two different tracks. So one is computer science, second is engineering. So here they have the subfields. So here the computer vision and the pattern recognition, signal processing software in computer science, then control and system engineering, electrical and electronic engineering in engineering domain. Okay. Coming down, it's a journal. ISSN number is provided. The coverage is from 1979 to 2021, which is quite vast. Then the homepage, publishing links, support, etc. These kind of links are presented. Coming to the scope, so it incorporates all aspects of theory and practice of signal processing. So, whoever is dealing with any aspect of signal processing might be a particular reader or the kind of author. If your content is good enough, then you may target this journal. Okay, it features the original work, tutorials, review articles, means the ethical guidelines, work should be original, etc. Then coming to the dissemination of information, etc. Let's move on to the actual keywords. So here are the actual keywords: signal theory, stochastic processes, detection and estimation, spectral analysis, software developments, image processing, pattern recognition, digital signal processing, communication signal processing, biomedical signal processing, then earth resources signal processing, acoustic and vibration signal processing. Okay, so I think different sorts of signal processing, radar, etc., remote sensing, everything is available here. Okay, so everything is under focus. So any kind of signal processing is considered as focus of this particular journal. Okay, coming down, there are multiple quartiles. So here you can see that computer vision, pattern recognition, control and system engineering, electrical and electronics engineering, signal processing and software. These three coming from computer science, and these two coming from engineering, as we just saw. So here you can see that right now in all quartiles it is being ranked as Q1 journal. So it's a wonderful journal. Means all the quartiles running at Q1, then the journal is SCI, and its impact factor is also good. That is 4.4 now. So in this way, I think the journal is powerful. You can go for it. And if your work is not getting accepted due to some reason, then means obviously you might try to revise your work and resubmit, but still if you are not having that much time, or if your work is rejected and resubmission is not allowed, then I think you should go for other journals. So there are these quite similar journals: the digital signal processing, a review journal if you are focused on the review writing or something like that. IT signal processing, Eurosip Journal of Advance in Signal Processing, then the IEEE signal processing letters. Okay, additionally some more are available here. See, go into the details and explore at the homepage of the respective journals that what are the different aims and scopes, and if your work maps, please choose a particular journal. Okay, additionally the SGR matrix is shown here. Total number of documents are also listed, citations per document you can see. So it is bit down in 2020. It might be due to COVID or something like that, because with respect to every journal it's like that in comparison to 2019, then in 2020 the graphs have come down. Additionally, we should focus on the total number of citations and the self citations. So this gap was going distant, but in 2020 it came closer. So I think in 2020 self citations were a bit more in comparison to 2019, and it's not a good sign. Obviously, additionally, these two graph lines are not mapping exactly. It means that the citations, I mean self citations, are more. Okay, so external citations you can see. So this gap should be almost similar to the citations per document. Then we can say that the self citations are almost nil. Okay. Coming down here, you can see the international collaboration. Again, due to COVID, always impacted with respect to every journal, it came down. Then here, due to some technical glitches, or I think non-ethical guidelines, some of the documents are non-citable. So here you can see very less number of journals here, almost nil, I think. Then in 1999, here you can see that the number of uncited documents means they were citable but not cited. So that was quite big number. But now you can see that it's just 145. So as per 2020 data, despite being the COVID era, here you can see that only 145 documents were not cited. And again, as we do know that Chinese community means they are highly powerful in publishing. Still means some of the journals are not getting published. So it not because of the kind of focus, but it might be because of the kind of work authors are focusing. It is not always the thing that if you have published into a very good journal, then your work will definitely get published. Sorry, definitely get cited, because you have published, but might be your research focus is very much limited or into a specific dimension only, and not much authors are working in that dimension. So that's why your work might remain unnoticed. That's why so many people go for open access option, that at least if the viewers will see our work, then definitely they will go for citing, etc. So definitely it's a point that open access papers do get a higher number of citations and recognition. That's why people go for that. But for that you need to be you need to have some kind of funding, good funding support, because usually the $200 per page or something like that, if that sort of fee. I'm quoting with respect to my experience, means with respect to IEEE journals, but I don't know with respect to elsewhere. But usually it remains in this range of 150 to 200 to $50. So if that's the range, then I think it's a tough for a general author or the independent researcher. So coming down, this widget shows that it's a Cuban journal of signal processing, and that's why it's a good one. Additionally, if you want to address or you want to interact with the audiences, means the kind of people who have commented down here, so you can leave your comment as well as you can ask some questions to the people who have commented down. So in this way, we can interact with the related community members. Now, coming to the closer of this today's discussion, I think we have covered most of the things with respect to this particular journey. But still, if you are interested in some of the specific key factors or the aspects about this journal, please let me know through your comments. Additionally, that so many different organizations and institutions are working and are publishing their work. Some of them are the French National Center for Scientific Research, Chinese Academy of Sciences, then the University of Electronic Science and Technology of China, and Nanyang Technological University, City University of Hong Kong, University of California Systems, French Institute for Research in Computer Science and Automation, University of Paris, then the University of Texas Systems, Uppsala University, and so many others. Okay, so I think you must have known that by now that there are so many different universities, and means good universities, research-wise good, well-known universities are publishing their works with this journal. So you should also go if you are working in the domain of signal processing. Additionally, some of the authors, means the authors who have published with signal processing, they usually publish in other journals also. So if you are not very much confident that where should I publish my work after signal processing, or if your work didn't get published in signal processing, what are the kind of other options? So if you have a kind of idea, or if you follow your fellow authors of your domain, then you might have an idea. So let me tell you that where the signal processing authors usually publish in other ways. Okay, so some of the common other focuses of IEEE of signal processing journals authors is the IEEE Transactions on Signal Processing, IEEE Geoscience and Remote Sensing Letters, IEEE Access, IEEE Transactions on Information Theory. IEEE Access is open source, completely open source, and that's why you need to be a kind of fund saving person. So if you have fund at your side, definitely you can go for IEEE Access. But again, you need to check whether, because usually it's a kind of trap. If some journal is SCA indexed, and you can get awarded degree based on that. So usually people just go for that and publish their work. But you need to also take into consideration that whether after degree award or something like that, whether the other companies or the different communities are recognizing your work, because so many open access but paid journals are not kind of recognized well. Means people do have kind of ambiguity because they do think that if some journal is getting accepted because of being paid, so you might be your research is under question, because they do see it like that you have paid money and that's why your work is getting accepted. So please do make a well sort of judgment because before going for a particular journal, because if you are a fresh graduate and you are going to look for a job next, then definitely these sort of decisions are going to impact. Okay. Then the IEEE transactions on image processing, IEEE transactions on circuits and systems, then the IEEE transactions on communications, IEEE transactions on aerospace and electronic systems, etc. Additionally, if your work didn't get published with Elsevier, you can move on to other publishers also. Like most of the signal processing authors focus on IEEE, as I just told, so many IEEE transactions and the journal's name. Additionally, you can go to the Springer Nature. There you have lots of other journals, then Wiley, then the Institute, then Tiller and Francis, American Physical Society, American Society Institute of Physics, the Optical Society, IOP Publishing, etc. Okay, so I think these sort of details are good enough to know about the basic understanding of this particular journal. And most cited topics if we want to discuss, because some of the things people do want to know that what are the most cited topics in signal processing. Then Fourier analysis obviously means that is quite popular because of the signal processing, heavy use of Fourier. And then digital image processing, cryptography, control theory, artificial neural networks, and the machine learning kind of things, because nowadays so much signal processing is being done artificial, and that's why deep learning ML come into picture. The sound recording and reproduction, dynamic system theory, and the caustics. Okay, so these are some of the most cited topics. So I think that's all from my side. If you want to know something more, and if you have something at your side to let me know, then please do comment below, and I would love to read your comments, and I would love to enhance my knowledge and to improve my analysis. If you didn't like anything, please do criticize in comments. I would love to read your critical comments, and definitely that will enhance my knowledge. So have a good day. Happy learning.